Hello, Springy back, part 15. Right, I've just rewired that jack and it's all stuffed in there, but as usual I'm not happy. I'm going to take it all out and I'm going to redo all the wires again, use thinner wires and get them all out plenty and get me, there's too much, there's all sorts of things in here, so I'm going to take it all out and redo it. So I may show you when it's all out. We'll see. Right, here's my little output jack. There's my earth and there's my live. Here's my bridge pickup. One earth, one live, nice and small. Problem is, my neck pickup I had to extend, and after a lot of faffing about, I ended up with all that. That one's the one that goes to the bridge. So I'm going to start again. I'm going to find some nice small wire to extend these with, and what I need is just 2 times that going straight into these, and 1 just off the earth coming up to the bridge. So I'm going to play with that now and try and do it properly. Okie dokie, with all these proper tools, and I should be able to do some proper soldering. So I have, there you go, some skinny wires, plenty of length, nice and slim. That will slide through, that should go through on its own without an extension. And then I've got to connect them up, put some, I'm going to heat shrink the, I'm going to twist and solder the 2 earths together and the 2 lives together, and then heat shrink the exposed bits, solder them on, and then do the earth somehow separately to the bridge, onwards and outwards. Right, let's just see how this goes through, one-handed of course. Through the first hole, I just need to twist them back together. Well, just twisted them together, poked them through. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Maybe some assistance is required. There they are, coming out of there. Now we need to get them out the end. Wow, that was so much easier. And these are going to lay flatter where I want them to. So let's see if we can get this one in. Just do something with that end. Goes one hand cam. Straight through. And those screws, those cables don't even go anywhere near the screws. That's brilliant. Right, let's get this one out the end hole. Which will require 2 hands, or will it? Right, I have my wires and lots of black crap everywhere. Right, there's my wires. I'm just going to figure out exactly how I'm going to do this so it's done properly. I've got to get my earth back to the bridge, which I'm going to get a separate little baby earth wire, skinny one. Right, for bridge earth, what I've done is I've just stripped the wire back halfway along it with my tool that lets me do that. I'm going to solder that there, and then I'm going to chuck a bit of heat shrink over the joint, so at the actual jack it'll only be some skinny baby wires soldering in. So wish me luck. Okay, so the two earths are connected. The two lives are connected, and I've spliced into the earth further up to go through to the bridge. And I've pre-tinned these, so I'm just going to clean up these terminals and pray that I haven't destroyed this by the repeated soldering. There's no components in it, it's just connectors, but yeah, I've given it a bit of a hammering. You'll notice I heat shrunk the two redundant pin terminals. So I won't film it, obviously, I need to concentrate. Right, we are in. I've got a funny feeling I'm going to be replacing this jack, but it didn't cost me anything to start with, and they're very cheap. So yeah, I think I may have overdone this. Right, I'm going to throw this all back together again and clean it all again with the black stuff, and get onto the strap button stuff. Right, that's all living in there very happily now. We're all back in. So if this now doesn't work, 99.9% would be that I've screwed up the jack itself, which is okay because I can unscrew that and resolder two wires onto it. That's all it needs. So bridge is going back on. And then the other hardware. Yeah. Alrighty. Sorry I didn't film it, but I've put the Daleks ears on, or CTs if you work in the power industry. Looks like we have these big versions of these. Right, yeah, I'm talking gibberish. They are, obviously this one here is the proper strap button, so I've used a nice long screw. This one here is just for show and a foot, and I've actually used a shorter screw because of the switchery. But yeah, probably looks really freaky, but you know what, it picks up on that shiny. I've got the black and the shiny. They're just feet and a strap button. Yeah, Dalek ears. There you go. Or eyes. Maybe eyes or ears. Something on a Dalek's head. Probably eyes. Yeah, so this is going to be the big one next. Such fun. I think I need tea before I get into that. I am going to have quite a bit of a task getting it all set up to play properly, because I've taken so much off the neck. Getting these bridge saddles, let's get some light. These bridge saddles are going to be properly on the deck, and that probably won't be enough to get me a decent action, because I've taken loads out of this fretboard, and obviously there's no frets either, so this saddle is probably going to be the bridge is probably going to be too high, even with those saddles right down to the deck, which would either mean routing out the cavity for the bridge, not going there, taking the bridge off and skimming off the bottom of the bridge. Don't really want to do that on something that will cost me £180 to replace, but I can take meat off the bottom of the saddles themselves, but we'll have to have a look. I think that's going to be pretty much, I'm sort of 75% think that I'm going to have to do that, but hey ho, that's what it's all about. Okay, well this is definitely the bit I have been dreading, because if I don't get this right, this protrusion is going to protrude at the wrong angle. Now I think really I need to have this, sorry, that angle there needs to be parallel with the neck. I couldn't work that out, so I just drew down it with my finger resting on the neck. This angle needs to follow sort of parallel with the top of the guitar, so it slightly pushes out. And then, yeah, and then I need to be, well, I don't know. Firstly, I need to put you down a second. Sorry, it's all gone dark. Whew, here we go. Right. Why does it always do that? Gonna need a bigger drill. And you've got three choices. You got a big width one, a big DeWalt, excuse the lack of commentary, but whoa, whoa there. What am I doing? Bloody hell. Well, I didn't think that was blunt. I also didn't think this was hardwood. But it's pretty hard. Maybe it's all that 10,000 coats of oil. Angles, yeah, I'm a bit off with my angle this way, but I'm okay with it this way. Let's try the other 13mm drill bit, the one I had in first and took out. See if this one's any. I'll tell you what I also need to do. I need to mark how far I'm going. Sewer. That. I bet you can't see a thing because I'm in the way. Does that work out right? No, it doesn't. I'm having a lot of luck here, am I? Maybe it's supposed to be on slow for wood. I'll say that's a no then. Yeah, I guess that drill bit was bigger than the other one then. Right then, good job. I'm going to self-tap it and epoxy it in. Well, they both say 13, but one was definitely bigger. Okay, reset. Right, sorry I wasn't filming because that all went a little bit tits up. Just knew something was going to happen. Right, so for some weird reason, the two 13mm bits I had, I can't find the other one, two 13mm bits, they both say 13. Well, one was the perfect size, so I'm guessing this 13 is a 12, the one that was blunt, and the one that is a 13 was way too big. So what I've done, well, it has enabled, on reflection, it has enabled me to position this in the angle I want it. I just put some normal steel washers in the hole where I'd gone in too far. I've put epoxy down the hole around the slug, and I've screwed in the self tapper, which is all the way down, but it didn't seem to feel like it was actually doing much, which is a shame. But with all that epoxy in there, that should be alright. And then the rest of it around the top I'm going to fill with wood glue and sawdust. I'm going to leave this overnight now for that epoxy to go off and then come back to it. So it keeps hanging on, it doesn't want to be finished. But that is the nature of the beast, I keep saying. Yeah, so I've got a little bit of work to do on this, but it has enabled me to, I hope you can see all this, it's enabled me to get my angle where I want it. Shouldn't do that because that's cool. It's moving the thing now. Right. Pulling it out. isn't that self-tapper doing the self-tapping bit? Didn't think my pilot hole was that big. Right. Leave it alone. Let it set. Come back and deal with whatever we deal with tomorrow. Just wiping off the excess epoxy. Right, that's it. Wood glue and sawdust from the guitar. On top of the other stuff. There's some finish to do there where I scratched it with a drill. So we'll let that 24 hours and then I can oil and get it sanded down and oiled to the same colour as the rest. Hopefully that's a recovery from a bit of a... I'm just wondering, throwing you around now while I'm tidying up. Right, turn around time. I keep saying reset, and when I say reset I don't mean like reset the set, I'm the director. What I mean is reset my brain. Righto then, that had its fair share of little calamities, so let's not crash the bike. Wiring redone. I haven't tested it yet, so I don't even know if it works. In theory it should work. If it doesn't, it'll be the output jack is just fried from me soldering it so many times. I just, my little Dalek ears, my little strap button stand bits, they just looked odd. They didn't seem to match, and I've just realised why. One of them had there weren't two matching pairs. There weren't two Fender and two Schala. We had one Fender, one something else, and two Schala. So they were slightly different sizes, different colours, different shapes. So I've just taken that one off and swapped it for. So we've now got a pair of Fender and a pair of Schala. So they're even. I've just dropped down all of the saddles, and I've done my straight edge along the fretboard onto the top of the saddles, and I think I might get away with it without shaving the saddles down. I might just be enough. Bearing in mind there's no frets on this. We'll see. If I can't achieve an action that I like, I will have to sand down the bottom of the saddles, which it's okay, no big deal. They are very, very, very much adjustable. There's a lot of adjustment. There's like 10mm of adjustment on them. So shaving the bottom off a millimetre, say, is not going to kill them. The strap button, the front strap button slug socket is in at exactly the right angle. So providing that epoxy, 2-pack epoxy glue resin goes off, I'm not convinced that the self-tapping screw in the bottom actually went in. It didn't seem to be gripping. Anyway, the 2-pack should hold it. My bit of sawdust and wood glue around the edge of the hole to fill it. That's a lighter colour than the rest of the body, so I'm going to have to somehow disguise that or make it good, somehow make it darker, stain it or something. I'll invent something. That's what this is all about. Excuse me. It's 8 o'clock now. I've been probably 3.5, 3 3/4 hours on this after work. That's it. We're sort of there. So yeah, a little bit of touching up to do around that slug socket to make it blend. There's a little bit of fine sanding and fine touching up where I just caught the wood with a drill. And then strings on and see if it can get anything like a proper setup. Then plug her in and pray I didn't mess up the wiring. We're very nearly there. Each day I think I'm going to be there, but I'm not there. So, but I'm still learning lots of things. That wiring was terrible. I'm not an electrician. I'm crap at wiring. I'm not brilliant at soldering. I bought myself a load of new soldering gear a little while back. A lot of electrical gear. There's that toolbox there. It's completely full of all electrical tools, soldering irons, connectors, or everything to try and teach myself to do wiring stuff better. And second time round, I'm happy. I've got in there what I should have in there. The wires were too thick, too many connections, too much heat shrink. Anyway, it's now fine. So I've learned a bit more about wiring and soldering. So that will definitely be that it won't work now that I've said that. Right, that's enough. Cold coffee. I'm going to get my soldering iron back in. I always stick it outside after I finish with it so it can cool down, and then I forget about it for a couple of hours and then it's cool. Right. Remember to turn that off. That's it. That was part 15. So thanks for watching again. Hopefully it's not too long-winded this time. They always are. So hopefully tomorrow we'll be getting some strings on it. I've got the strings, by the way. The ones I said, they're here. They came in a pretty box, but I didn't have room for the box. So see you tomorrow, probably. I've been Springy. Peace and love. Cheers.